Hey everybody, it is time for Q&A Wednesday where we talk about the questions that you might have. Of course, let me reiterate that most of the time these questions that I'm responding to are things that current clients have come to me with recently. Because it's real life things. We all deal with some obstacles when it comes to our health goals, and so trying to help you out. This is years of experience and helping other people go through it and what's worked for me. So of course, there's no one right way, but we have a really great topic tonight. So we're going to talk a little bit about how or what to do when your friends, your family, maybe even your coworkers aren't really supportive of your health goals. Because of course, you get excited about a goal, you tell everybody around you, and the people that you feel like should be the most supportive end up being the ones that truly aren't. And so we're going to talk about how to hopefully help them to get on board, and if not, how to kind of resist listening to the noise that they create when you're trying to really accomplish something that's your goal. Because remember, this is your goal, not their goal. But it's a big deal, right? It's a big deal to you. And unfortunately, even as adults, peer pressure is a big deal. Within our families, the people, again, that should be really the most supportive aren't always the most supportive. So we'll talk a little bit about maybe how to try to get them on board. And again, if you can't get them to get on board with you, what to do in order to still push towards your goals. Because I really think that's important. This is about you, not them. This isn't their goal. And like I said, it's so sad when you're so excited and you're motivated and you tell them, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to, I'm going to make it work this time. I'm really going to drop a couple pant sizes. I want to feel good. And then, you get complete opposite response of what you expect. So, let's talk a little bit about it. Sometimes it's your family, sometimes it's friends, and we're gonna talk a little bit about different things in those situations, just because it can be a little bit different. Again, you really feel like your family should be truly supportive of what you're trying to accomplish. And that's one of the hardest ones. Maybe you come from a family that food is tradition, and as soon as you go to dinner with the family, your mom's going, mija, you're too skinny, you need to, right? Like, it just depends on your background, your traditions. So it's part of it is knowing how to approach each of those situations in a way that works for you. And like I said, don't let them determine what your goals are. Don't change your goal because of their opinions. Yeah, because everybody has one. Everybody has an opinion. And unfortunately, in this day and age, apparently everybody's opinion is the right one. So, yeah, it doesn't really work that way, right? But I tell all of my clients, especially when they get started and they're, they start to hear these negative things and they're really frustrated and confused. And the deal is that people want you to do well. People in your life want you to do well. They just don't want you to do better than they are or that they're willing to do, right? It's the whole kind of goes towards the misery loves company situation where, if I don't want to do it, you shouldn't do it either, because then you're showing everybody that you're willing and I'm just lazy, right? And I know that's so messed up. James says, hi, Melissa, love your Q&A sessions. Thanks, James. Like I said, I get them from their real world, real situations that we're approaching here, and trying to give you some leg up on how to approach your family and to deal with it. But most of us have been in that situation where, somebody just tries to rain on your parade. And it's frustrating. So I'm going to give you some tips, and I'm going to give you some examples as well, because I've got some stories, mostly based on myself and my experience. But number one, ask for your friends and family and the people that are around you the most, ask for their support, but don't expect it. Sometimes you have to train their thoughts. You have to speak in a way that you expect them to help. Case in point, the people in your life, maybe you still live at home and you need to talk to your parents. So you might say something to the effect of, Mom, I love you and you are my biggest support, and I really know that you want me to be happy, and I really need you to help me towards this goal. What are some ways that you can support me? And then cover the things that maybe she's really doing that really hurt you. The whole, you're too skinny. Those aren't healthy goals. If you live at home, that's a tough one too. I have clients that are still in their late teens, maybe going to college from home. And so, the parents don't care. They're still bringing junk food and pizza and maybe they're really struggling with that. So sometimes you have to approach it in a way that helps them to understand that you really do need their backing, their help. And honestly, sometimes that has to involve tears. Case in point, when early in my season of competing, I love my husband and he loves me unconditionally. And he would hide chocolate around the house because when Melissa had a meltdown, he would bring out the chocolate and say, baby, I brought you chocolate. I don't want you to feel like that. But unfortunately, it was making the situation worse, and it really was taking me away from my goals, not towards them. And so at one point, we had to have a sit-down talk of, I really need you to support me in this. You need to not bring that stuff home. And that actually instituted a really great rule at my house, and we'll talk about it again here in a minute. But the rule at my house, since we have so many people that are either competing or on meal plans or working towards some sort of health goal, that's fine if you're going to eat it. Like if you want pizza, by all means, go to pizza, but please don't bring it home, because that really is hard for me. Because, there is no such thing as willpower, right? Part of it too is that, we expect when we're in a health goal that we should be able to be perfect, and we can avoid that pizza or those cakes or whatever it is that people are bringing home and you're struggling over. You might, for 2 weeks, put it off and go, no, I just can't do it. I can't do it. And that third week, the day that you actually take a bite of that, you feel like you failed. You don't, appreciate the fact that you were able to withstand that for 2 weeks, because now you've eaten it and you feel like a failure, which is ridiculous, right? There is no such thing as willpower. You have to, first of all, take care of your environment. You have to make sure that your environment is beneficial to your goals. So again, if you live at home with your parents, or if your spouse is not being super, super supportive, you may need to try to recruit them in order to be part of, ask them to be your team. Ask your family to be your team. You need their help. It's very difficult to do any sort of health goal all by yourself. Now, again, you're not going to be able to force them into your goal. Part of it is being a good example, because, my family in the first few years was like, cool, mom's doing it, but not our thing. Now everybody's involved because they have watched my example and what that's done for me. And of course, now they're seeing the benefits of eating healthier, exercise, feeling better about themselves. So again, it might take some time, but if you can early on get them on board, that's a big part of it. Now, really quick, just a big obstacle that you may have to deal with is that if your significant other or somebody super important in your life doesn't really want you to get there, you're going to fight an uphill battle. We've had situations where the husband didn't like that the wife was feeling better about herself and feeling good about herself and getting healthier, partially because, again, he wasn't really willing to do that himself. And so he really sabotaged her situation. And that's a rough one. And again, that's going to have to come back you might have to take that to a professional. That might require some counseling, because obviously there's something more there than just you working towards your goals. That's going to be a bigger obstacle than that, and you're going to have to get somebody who can help you with that. All right, talk about using tears if you have to. Like I said, it's happened before, and I think sometimes they don't understand how important your goal is to you, especially if it's something that you've really been working on for years and have struggled and maybe feel like you have failed over and over again. You really do need their support, and you might have to really show that in a way that they understand, right? Okay. So one of my favorite sayings, and I don't think this matters what the situation is, but one of my favorite beliefs is that personal success is the very best revenge, right? So, part of when I've been told over and over and over, you can't do it, you're not good enough. And not necessarily by the people close to me. Most of the people that I truly, at this point, surround myself with are there because I choose them to be there. So I don't really get that kind of resistance. But, in the past, I've had a lot of people that I trusted and admired, really try to sabotage me, break my spirit. And, you kind of have to take a step back and say, okay, really, they're obviously not supporting me, my goals, or the person that I am. And sometimes you just have to use that as a fire, put that chip on your shoulder. Be like, you know what? Cool. You think I can't do it? Watch me, right? And a lot of years, that was how I got through the year, the season, whatever I was working towards is I was mad. I was just mad. I needed to be mad to keep pushing forward on those days that were really rough. And that can be part of it. It's kind of funny too, because sometimes those people that are the ones that are, really putting you down or frustrating you eventually come back, and they're the ones going, I totally supported her the whole time. Yep. I was her best support. You're going, no, you weren't. But that's human nature. Unfortunately, that's kind of what happens there. we talked about creating an environment in order to reach your goals. So, there's probably going to be a little bit, I don't know if you grew up with this situation, but I grew up in the day and age where my mother would say, clean your plate. There's starving Ethiopians. Like, there was a whole thing about third world countries and how don't let food go to waste, which I totally believe. There is an important part of our nutrition and that's part of our carbon footprint, right? We should use things that are sustainable, and not waste and things like that. However, that being said, that's no reason to be unhealthy or eat things that we shouldn't. Or, at Christmas time, we get a lot of goodies handed to us, or I love to bake, right? I get into this little mode, but we give a lot of that away. So if you have this issue with not wanting to clean out your cupboards because you don't want to waste, give it away. Give it, if it's still a closed package, give it to the food shelter. Get it out of your space, because really part of your success is going to be predicated on having an environment that won't tempt you, right? For the most part, when I get stressed out and I want to eat my feelings, because I don't have any chocolate in the house, I'm not really in the mood to get in my car and go drive to the store. And if I am, well, maybe I deserve that chocolate at the moment. But if I don't keep it in my house, I'm less likely to eat it when it's based on cravings and emotional support, right? So, keep that out of the house, give it away, and really try to get your family to support the fact that you're asking them to not bring it home. Same thing with hanging around friends. That's a hard one, guys. Throughout the 8 or 9 years so far that I've really been working towards a healthier lifestyle. And for those of you that don't know me, you'll have to go back into my files and look to see what I looked like in my past. Used to be obese. So there's a lot of people who aren't in my life anymore, partially because, Melissa's not going to go drink every weekend. She's not going to go out and eat pizza. I totally understand that food is there's a total social aspect of that. But I kind of restrain that back a little bit. I can still do fun things with people and enjoy conversations. Sometimes I bring my own food, or at least I know how to make good choices if we're going out. But I'm not going to make that choice every time. I don't eat out multiple times a week. I may eat out once a month. And even then I can still make good choices. So that's not even an issue. But again, I've had a lot of practice. Health has been a really big aspect of my life. I've watched some unhealthy situations come down through my family. I do know what my family history is when it comes to health diseases. I know that my genetics show full-blown type 2 diabetes on my mother's side. I know that we have some issues with heart disease on both sides of my family. I'm very aware what my family history can bring to the situation, my genetics, but I also know that I can avoid a lot of that by eating healthier, and I want to be there for my kids and my grandkids. I don't want to be a burden, and I want to have a quality lifestyle, a quality of life as I get older, and remain independent for as long as possible. All right, this is a big one, guys, especially in your situation where you're, whenever you have a big goal, you're gonna hear all kinds of opinions. And I find it fascinating how often my clients come to me and they said, well, so-and-so said that, this is the better way to go, and that you're giving me too many calories, or you're doing this and that's not the right way to go. And I'm going, would you change places with that person? Well, what do you mean? Well, are they healthy? Do you feel like, they're in the place that you want to be? Have they been working on your goal and they obviously know what they're talking about? Do they have an education in it, a background in health and nutrition? And they're going, well, no. Why would you take advice from anyone that you wouldn't change places with? That makes zero sense to me. Same thing with going to a trainer or, somebody in the health industry. Sorry, somebody's trying to call me, who obviously is not healthy themselves. That makes no sense to me. I've actually been to dietitians. Way back when I was pregnant with one of my kids, I had gestational diabetes twice. That's how I know that that's a big deal in my family. And I found it fascinating that the dietitian that they had me listen to obviously was either not taking her own advice or really didn't know what she was talking about. Now, I'm not trying to talk down or put down doctors and dietitians, but sometimes the information that they have or their ability to follow their own advice is not really there. And part of it is just, you have to be real. That's part of it. You have to be real. It takes time to overcome bad habits and the ways that my problem was education. I really wasn't taught how to eat correctly and in a healthy way growing up. Now, my mother did her best because honestly, she was a working mom. She was amazing. She worked so hard. But of course, that required that we had to be, we had to make boxed food or, prepared food in a way that wasn't super healthy. So, it's really important to me to teach my children to be in a better place. But like I said, really be careful who you're taking advice from. The greatest part about being 44, yes, I'm 44. Honestly, I really don't give a crap what everybody else thinks. One of the biggest benefits of having some experience in life is that I've really learned that, although everybody can have their opinion, that's fine. The only opinion that I really do care about besides my family, because I love them, is I do want my clients to know how much I love them and I care about them and I want them to be healthy and happy. But other than that, I just don't care. I do love humans. I do love people in general. I really do. I love people until they prove to me I shouldn't. But I don't truly care what they think about me. I'm in a good place in my life. I'm healthy, I'm happy, I'm in a really balanced place, and I feel good. And that's the best part. That's my goal. So, it's really hard when I hear somebody come in and maybe they have a very specific goal, and maybe their goal is their own, but a lot of times I hear how many people in their life play into what their goal is. And I'm going, oh, honey, you got to not care what that person thinks. Hey, George, because they don't have your best interest at heart. Or maybe it becomes this little interfamily competition and it's not really healthy. I have seen this before, more than once actually. And that's so frustrating because that's not what it's about. It's not who's the skinniest in the family or who can complete this competition first or let's do a family challenge, a Biggest Loser challenge. Y'all know that wasn't even a healthy show, guys. I liked it at the time because I loved the inspiring stories. Hate it now that I know the background and how absolutely unrealistic and ridiculous the show was itself to the people that were working there. So really just remember that the only opinion that truly matters is yours because this is your goal. My clients all the time, Melissa, I'm afraid that I'm disappointing you. Why? This isn't my goal. This is your goal. I'm just the coach. I'm just the guide to help you to get where you want to go. All right. You might have to negotiate. Sometimes, again, other people's opinions or what they think is important, or maybe even their ability to participate in supporting you and playing that supportive role. You might have to negotiate a little bit. Kind of like the whole, hey babe, I don't care if you eat donuts, just please don't bring them home. I really am struggling with that. And I have this big goal I'm really trying to reach. And you are my rock. I need you in this one. So that's an okay thing to do because they might not want to be on the same page as you right now. The other thing though, I find it really interesting when people post. Social media is a big deal. I get it. I use it because I need to, but sometimes it's really hard because again, not everybody is willing to do what you do. So keep in mind that haters are gonna hate. And here's the crazy thing: the better you do, and the closer to your goal that you're getting, probably the more you're gonna hear. And it's kind of a weird concept. In the beginning, I really struggled with that. My first, about 2011-ish, I lost about 80 pounds in 9 months. And I remember, first of all, you have to become a different person. There's a lot of things that change. The way people treat you is different, and not necessarily in a great way. And I remember going to this New Year's party in a town that was away from where we were living at the time. And I went to the bathroom and I was just wearing a dress and I wasn't doing anything exceptionally weird or crazy or overtly sexy. But I was pretty excited about my new body. I hadn't been that size pretty much ever. And these 40 plus ladies were in the bathroom and just giving me the dirtiest looks. And at the time I was so distraught. I kept thinking, man, if they just knew what I'd gone through to get here, they wouldn't treat me like that. Yeah, guys, it's so unfortunate. I don't understand why women can be so catty and why can't we just support each other? We're all queens. We're all beautiful. I just don't understand it. I don't know if that's a concept of my upbringing. I just don't know. But now I don't care. Now I don't care, guys. When I get those looks, I know that sometimes I look intimidating. I know I have the resting gym face. And I'm just focused. I call it my focused face. If you've ever seen me drive, you've seen my focused face. But now I just play problem, who has the problem? I just don't care. If you don't like me, you don't like me. Just don't care. Move on, go somewhere else. So be careful with that. Don't internalize that. You're not the one with the problem. They are, right? And if it's on your social media, you know what? Block those people. I've probably got a list of about 300 people between my social media that I've just blocked. Some of it's because it's just gross, and some of it's because they're just mean, and I don't need that in my life. One of the benefits of what I do is I get to choose who gets to be in my life, and that's a big deal. I know some of you don't have that opportunity, and you might have to put up with some pretty big garbage, but yeah, hopefully you'll learn to get past that. Okay, keep going. Be your own damn cheerleader. Be your own damn cheerleader. You know, you might be the only one that's going for it, shooting for it. You might not have any support. It's okay to cheer for yourself. That's, for some odd reason, women tend to put themselves down. We tend to really just be frustrated. And even when we see progress, we tend to just aren't nice to ourselves. You know what? If you that week just did a little bit better, cheer for yourself. I'm a little weird. I already know that. And I've been known to walk around the house going, dude, I had an amazing day today. I did so good. You should see everything I've accomplished. And I love the sense of accomplishment. So that's a big deal to me. And my kids are like, okay, mom is crazy today. Who cares? Like, I'm patting myself on the back. Sometimes we just need that. If you don't have the cheerleaders that you need in your life, be your own cheerleader. It's okay. Well, and I'll cheer for you. Like, I don't care what your goal is. I'm on board. I'm your biggest fan because that is why I do what I do. Okay. So if you are in a situation where you really don't have a lot of supportive people, you're going to have to come up with coping skills to deal with the situations. You know, one of them might just be, you're going to have to play the game of which do you want more. You know, in the middle of a contest prep, somebody would say, you know, I just, offhandedly say, you know, I really want pizza. And so my friends would say, well, so go eat it. I'm like, no, I want to win more than I want that pizza. So, you know, part of it's having a goal big enough that the obstacles don't count, right? They don't matter because even though they suck, you want that goal more than you want that disappointment or that situation or that obstacle to overcome it. So you might have to, I've heard some great stories. You know, there is a benefit to putting, put your goal in front of you where you can see it so that when you are struggling, it's also great to find someone who is supportive. And it might be outside your family. When I work with new clients, I tell them, you know, you might not have one other supportive person on your team, but lean on me for that. That is my job. I know how hard it is. I've been there. I've done it. I will be your support and your cheerleader. But you have to allow me to do that. That's the role that I choose. I want to be that for you. So find somebody. So when you're frustrated, you're tired, you've walked into the break room at work and it is full of cupcakes, or especially during the holidays. I know that's a hard one, but any time of the year, you know, they brought pizza for all the employees and you're going, really? Like I'm really doing well, and then you're going to pull this on me. I've had clients text me and just go, oh my gosh, and they've taken a picture of the break room, sent it to me, and my comment is, girl, you got this. You know that don't even affect you, and they're okay. So having somebody behind you really does help, but it's okay to cheer for yourself as well. And of course, like I said, you got to want it more than you want the pizza, the donut, the cupcake, whatever. So again, remember that these are your goals. Really, if you choose to allow them to change your goal, make you cave. Like I said, peer pressure is a real thing as an adult. I think it's something that we only think of, hey, Timothy, we only think of in school. Not going to lie, you could never make me do high school again. Not ever. Like, I don't need to be reincarnated and do that garbage again. But even as adults, I think that we forget that we allow way too many people to help us choose, or by default, allow them to choose for us. And that's not okay. This is your goal and you need to take the steps to get there. So hopefully that helps a little bit. Don't allow people to should on your dreams. Oh, you're doing that? Well, you should do this, or you shouldn't do that. Don't allow people to should on your dreams. It's your goal, it's your life, it's your choice. So hopefully that helps a little bit. Just know that if you're in this situation, you're not alone. A lot of people come up against resistance. Coworkers, really quick. I get it. I've seen it. Like, wow. I've actually even told my clients when these situations arise, I'm like, you tell all your coworkers, your trainer's coming to work tomorrow, and she's pissed. Cause I look scary. I use it to my benefit sometimes, but I just think it's rude. I think I've had a couple of instances, several years ago, one of my clients, loved red licorice. She's the most amazing person. I totally could feel her struggle. And somebody at work brought one of those Costco size red vine licorice tubs and left it on her desk for her as a present. And I thought, you've got a couple of options there. Your coworkers better than I do. You might need to say something and just be like, I'm really hurt, guys. That really hurts my feelings. I consider you guys my friends, and you're really hurting my feelings right now. So, however it is, not that you're trying to make them feel bad. They just need to understand that your goal is important and they're not helping, and that you really could use their help and support. You're not always going to get it. You're just not. Like I said, misery loves company, and when they're not willing to do it, my favorite is when people tell me, well, I want to look like you, but I'm not willing to do, I couldn't do it. And I'm like, well, if you tell yourself you can't do it, you obviously can't. It's not that they can't, they're just not willing. And that's really the issue that they have. Let them be there. That's, don't waste your energy trying to convince them otherwise. This is about you being the best you that you can possibly be. So, all right. Well, hopefully that helps you in a situation if you're there. You can also, if you need to talk one-on-one or need a little more suggestions, you can direct message me through Facebook. I get it all the time. Also, leave a message down below. I love to hear your ideas. If you are struggling with a specific question, definitely let me know, because I get my best ideas from you guys. So hopefully you have an incredible week. I have a really great recipe coming up this weekend for Meals with Melissa. It will be at a special time because I am doing a little bit of traveling to work with some of my competitors. So be aware of that. Of course, I always post it afterwards, so you can watch it at any time. Also, don't forget that there are tanks, t-shirts, and hoodies available right now for pre-order with the new logo on it. Pretty excited. And some other stuff coming out for that. I'm also running a coffee talk. Remember that? Coffee talk with Melissa Sunday at the local IHOP. You can see that posted on, I believe, my Fillmore Fitness page for Facebook. I'd love to have you there. Ask me all the questions you want. I'll be talking. And if nobody shows up, I'm gonna read a good book, because I like to learn. So have an incredible week, guys. That's Q&A Wednesday. Have a good one now.